Hey, what's up? A gracious good morning to you good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do, and you know why I do it. It is Thursday morning. It is August 21st, and it is 3:30 in the morning. Yes, 3:30 in the morning. Did I say it was 3:30 in the morning? This is when I do my best work, actually. I'm up and about every day, early in the morning. You know, my brain must be locked in go-getter mode or something. Yeah, because, like I said, I'm up every day. I've never set an alarm clock. The only time I set an alarm is we've just started this new time system in the office, and I set an alarm to remember to clock in, because I get so busy in my paperwork and whatnot. So that's the only time I set an alarm. I logged into tell you about my wild evening. And when you think about it, it's not so wild. I have, yesterday when I got off work, I went directly home and got my clippers out and decided to cut my hair. I wanted all one length because I usually keep it faded and whatnot. But I cut my hair. My hair is super fine. And it's just a giant patch of cowlicks. So when I first cut my hair, it always looks like I'm balding. But I just got tired of paying. In the Bay Area, the going rate for a haircut at most shops is $60. 50 for the haircut, 10 for the tip. And I have a good barber. My barber, I can just call at the spur of the moment and, he locks me in. The fact that I can call my barber is cool to me. A lot of places have this book an appointment app, which I hate, because I know how the shops go. And then I know all the guys in the shop, because I go there so often now. I've gotten to know names and chit-chat. And, it's all good. So, but I just got tired of paying. So, I cut my own hair. So you can see the cowlicks and how, yeah, that part. Now, I don't even want to line up. I might get the back lined up at some point, but I want my natural hairline. And it's super fine in the corners here because I wear a cap all the time and just pulls the hair. And the hair is really, really super fine in the corners anyway. So, but I had a good time. Just, hey, that looks right. Hey, that looks right. And I do have one of those three-way mirrors where you can see the back of your head. But I hate trying to set that thing up. So, there you have it. That's what I did yesterday evening. That's the highlight of the night. I wanted to really get into this message, and I want people, hopefully, to pay attention. And it's somewhat political, but I hope it prompts self-examination. I spend a lot of time on TikTok, y'all, because I do my recordings and I have my YouTube channel. And I share a lot of my thoughts and opinions about the undercurrent of racism and how people don't identify racism because they never had to. And then when you call it out, you're labeled racist or you're labeled militant because the assumption is the wind is supposed to blow my way. When you call it out, And certain individuals get butt hurt. Let that phrase sit. When certain individuals get butt hurt, then two things happen. They go to a position of being the victim, and they get personal. You know, I had this encounter not too long ago. I want to say about 3-4 months ago. And it kind of piggybacked on another episode where someone felt the need to intervene into something I was already dealing with when I never asked for help or support or intervention. From what you know about me, and the people who know me personally know, I am pretty self-contained. If I want help, or if I need help, I'll ask for help. But certain situations, for me, require a certain finesse, or I want to say a lack thereof. And when I say a lack thereof, I want you up and out of my face. I want you up and out of my business. And I want you to understand that this is what I am not going to damn do. I'm setting a very firm boundary. Don't mess with me. Don't play with me. And no, it's not happening. And in this particular situation, I was on the ladder. Don't mess with me. Don't play with me. Get out of my face. But somebody felt the need to intervene in my conversation with a particular individual. Not only did they intervene, they rewarded the poor behavior and what this person was asking for. When I knew something different, you didn't ask me why I was cutting such a hard line. You rewarded the behavior without ever having a conversation with me. You just jumped in. So, male Karen or Chad, Ken, whatever, you know, what was going on in your mind? One, that you jumped into my conversation, and two, that you assumed that it was unmerited conversation, and that you assumed that I needed help. So, rather than do what that person did to me, matching energy, I waited till later in the day. And I rolled up on the individual that intervened. And you know how I say things have more power when you say them grammatically incorrect? Look that individual in the eye. So that you never no more again in this life jump in my business. I was very clear. Several moments later, the person came back to me. Well, obviously I've done something to piss you off. You think? And I mean that on every level. Do you think? You heard what I was telling the individual. You were standing right there. You jumped into business that you weren't invited into. You heard my tone. Okay. Then they proceeded to tell me I didn't think it was that serious. If you don't get up out of my face. Several days later, they came back. I could hear them hemming and hawing. Oh, because I keep my office door closed. They're outside the door doing all that. Then I heard, I might as well get this over with. I promptly put them out of my office again. You came, if it was an apology, you came with the wrong spirit. And you made it seem like it was a burden to apologize. Boy, bye. Girl, bye. So, I'm going to need you to hold on to that energy that you approach this situation with. I'm going to need you to hold on to the energy that you held when you thought you were going to apologize based on, it being a burden. And I've told you several times, I don't like people in my business in that manner. I don't do dysfunctional peace. Will not do it. Because it's the polite thing to do. I'm going to need you to hold on to the energy. Because that's what's going to sustain you. I have not spoken to that individual since. I don't do Rembrandt portraits. And by that I mean, I'm not going to try to repaint people when they show me their true colors. So, all that being said, making a short story long, I need you being my viewers, anybody who feels that this message is important, to look at how you show up in certain situations. Because I've been very clear and upfront. And I'm sure there's other individuals in your lives that have been very clear and upfront about who they are. And, not too long ago, I posted a video about being surgical with the truth. If you want to talk, we can talk. You want to keep it superficial? We'll keep it superficial. But if you want real honest to God truth, we can have that conversation. I am not going to sugarcoat. I want to say something else, but I'm going to temper my words. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything to make anybody comfortable. If it's a hard fact, it's a hard fact. If you want my insight, I'll give you my insight. But don't come to me looking for me to co-sign your BS. Because I'm not going to do it.